On today's episode of Red Cape Sports, we're taking you through F1. Should you be buying the cards? Let's find out. So first and foremost, I guess there's going to have to be a little bit of background information on F1, the sport. So the first reason why I absolutely adore F1 sports cards is because of the fact that these cards just came out in the year 2020, okay? The latest set, even though we're in the year 2022, was just 2021. So guys, there are two different sets here. And the beauty part of it is Topps puts out these cards. Topps had no idea how successful they'd be. So the 2020 cards, a lot of these drivers, even though that they weren't in their rookie year, I'm talking Lewis Hamilton, Vettel, Ocon, you know, there's a lot of guys that weren't rookies, but we do have to consider these their rookie cards. Now, with that being said, it's very similar to Patrick Mahomes' Prism cards where, you know, there was no paper. These are Topps Chrome cards. Now, obviously there's also Sapphire, we'll get into that later, but they're all Topps Chrome. And the thing is, when we talk about population reports, we talk about something, you know, I'm sure we'll put it up on screen right here, right? There's a PSA 10 Joe Burrow, or maybe even a PSA 10 Justin Herbert. Those Prism cards have pop reports in the 3,000s, you know? That's something I looked up not too long ago. However, these rookie cards of F1 drivers, the population reports are extremely low. I'm talking 100, sometimes in the 50s, and at the highest, maybe 350. So these cards are very rare, very hard to come after, and honestly, very hard to grade a PSA 10. A lot of these cards, when they get sent off to PSA, they come back 7 or 8s. So, you know, when we talk about the rarity, it's very difficult for these cards to, you know, come back as a high grade, and therefore it's hard to get your hands on them. Now, obviously, there's also Topps Dynasty, the higher end things. I don't want to get too much into that today, but just focus on this, right? When a race starts, there's only 20 drivers. There's 10 teams, and each team has 2 drivers. Therefore, these guys who are driving, they're very recognizable, right? If we talk about hockey, basketball, football, whatever it might be, you know, most people know Patrick Mahomes. Most people don't even know the quarterback for, let's say, the Washington football team, now formerly the Commanders, or, you know, most people don't know some of the weaker quarterbacks. The thing with racing is there's really nowhere to hide. There's 20 racers, everyone knows who they are, which honestly makes it easier to identify from an investing perspective who might be the next up-and-coming driver. Now, the next important thing to know about F1 is the cars, right? Now, obviously on the street, if I'm racing you guys in, you know, my dad's farm van, I'm not going to win. You could have almost any other car, a Bugatti, a Ferrari, whatever it might be, you're going to win. However, most of these cars are all equal. Now, I say that most. At the start of the year, especially what we're seeing right now in this race season, Ferrari is light years ahead of everyone. Therefore, you know, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are likely going to be 2 of the best drivers. So, had you known that, you know, if you know Ferrari's got a really good car, you can go out and purchase these cards for relatively cheap. You can go out and grade them and make some really good money. However, I do want to say this. As I'm filming this, the 3rd race in Australia just ended. Currently, it looks like Ferrari is going to be running away with all the championships this season. You know, Charles Leclerc is having a phenomenal season. Now, when we look at the standings, it looks like Ferrari has an absolute stud of a car. And honestly, it looks like they're going to be rivaling Mercedes, you know, Red Bull, even McLaren, right? It looks like they're absolutely running away with things. Charles Leclerc already so far, again, as I film this video, he's got 2 out of the 3 victories. He's been putting in phenomenal performances. So we know he's going to be having a good year. But again, when I look at the price points, I think of how rare these cards are. You know, a young guy rather, in George Russell, who just had his rookie card out last season, He's been racing phenomenally. He just recently got a promotion. He's racing with one of the big dogs in Mercedes. He's been doing really well this year, and honestly, I think these price cards are too undervalued. Overall, there's so many exciting things coming in F1. I know producer Mitch hasn't even heard this, but F1 is coming to Vegas, right? F1 is having many more races in the United States now, and that's what they need, right? The overall growth of the sport is really big in the UK. It's really big in Europe and whatnot. But what they really need to do is grow the sport in North America. Again, guys, there's so many different reasons on why the sport is growing. Netflix is a big reason. The drivers are a big reason. The drivers on social media. I know Daniel Ricciardo's got a really big following. Lewis Hamilton's got millions of Instagram followers. So there's a lot of reasons that the sport is growing. But honestly, the reason why I am most excited for these cards is history. We got one of the best drivers in the world's son performing right now in Mick Schumacher. For those of you who don't know, his son Michael raced for Ferrari. Honestly, he has the most championships right now, along with Sir Lewis Hamilton. They both have 7. So there's a lot of history, a lot of different storylines, a lot of Netflix series that we can see coming from this. And honestly, there's also even more speculation that one day Mick Schumacher, who is a young up-and-coming driver, I personally believe that one day he will get a contract with Ferrari and his card prices will explode. Now guys, I'm not saying to go out and buy his cards right now. However, I'm saying the overall market is, in my opinion, really undervalued. There's a lot of sports YouTubers talking about it. I know Sports Card Collector 2 talks about it. I know tons of different channels talk about F1. But for that reason and many more, a guy like Mick Schumacher, a guy like George Russell, even Max Verstappen, they're all undervalued. Max Verstappen is an absolute phenomenal driver with Red Bull. All this guy does is win. Mitch, again, we're gonna put up right here all his race results from 2021. This guy was amazing. His card prices, in my opinion, are just undervalued. You know, compare it to anyone else from any of the other 4 major sports, even soccer, tennis, you know, any sport that you guys like. Guys, I'm telling you, these cards are undervalued. And if you guys are into F1, you know, it might be a really good opportunity to purchase some of these cards. If you guys aren't in F1, again, I highly suggest you guys watch a race. You know, Sundays, 9 a.m. typically Eastern Standard Time. It's just a really fun sport to watch. Lots of action. It's just a really cool sport. I can't say enough about F1. I love it. So, now that I've rambled on so much, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Red Cape Sports. I hope you all learned something. I hope you all go out and purchase yourself some F1 cards, because I'm telling you, they are undervalued. Well, that does it for this installment of Red Cape Sports. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave us a thumbs up. It really helps us out to grow the channel and to reach more people who love sports card collecting as yourself. And just a reminder, if you guys are interested in learning more than just what we put out here on YouTube, down below in the video description, there is a link to our Udemy course. Ultimately there, you guys can learn tons of different things on how to collect sports cards, protect them, and ultimately invest in the sports card industry. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Till next time.